So just to clarify, as parents or students join us and they had questions or comments for us, they will show up in the comments tab.
That's right.
Okay. And they can hear us, but we can't hear them.
That's right. Yep. Yeah, it's a different type of format than we're used to, right?
Yeah. So welcome to the families who are here. We're going to wait just a couple more minutes to allow more people to join, but we are so glad that you're here for the 6th grade orientation.
Oh, wait. Sorry, everyone. Just had to barricade the dog. Andrew, why don't you give us the go-ahead when you see the numbers click up?
All right, I think we can begin. We said 5 o'clock start, so I think that'll work. We have a few more people, of course, dropping in, which is great, and they will just join us as we go.
Great. So welcome everyone to the 6th grade Bloomington Online School orientation session. We are so excited to have you here, and we're so excited to have our 6th grade teachers here with us tonight to tell you a little bit about themselves. So let's go over the agenda for tonight. We're going to have our teachers introduce themselves and tell you a little bit about the courses that your students will be taking, or students that you'll be taking. I'll be speaking to both of you. We'll go over your supply list for 6th grade. Tech setup, so questions related to technology, your Chromebook. We'll go over your daily schedule so students can see a day in the life of a 6th grader at Bloomington Online School. We'll talk about attendance and some procedures around taking attendance and parents' information for you about calling in attendance. And then at the very end, we will have a question and answer session. At that time, you will be asked to use the comment section and text or comment your questions to us, and we will do our very best to answer those for you. So teachers and course introductions. We are going to start with 6th grade language arts.
All right. Hi, everybody. I am Miss Beckett, and I am one of the 6th grade language arts teachers. This year in language arts, the key topics that we're going to be focusing on are reading, writing, speaking, and listening, with an emphasis on the 6 traits of writing. We'll be using picture books, short stories, podcasts, and films. We'll also be working on independent reading and reading strategies, as well as daily journaling and word study. Do you want to go to the next one? Oh, perfect. Okay, so this is a little bit about me. I recently moved to Richfield, so some of my top 5 things that have been going on in my life are house projects. My family is over there on the side. I have 2 daughters. My oldest is 3. Her name is Amelia. And my youngest is Eleanor, and she just turned 1. So it's been kind of a crazy year for me with them, but a ton of fun. You probably can hear Eleanor crying in the background. Sorry about that. I love treats, especially coffee and chocolate. If you want to make my day, those are the 2 things. I love learning. I love reading and podcasts and documentaries. And I think, that's why I love teaching so much, because I'm a lifelong learner. I love fitness and mainly focusing on yoga and Pilates and hiking. My new house is really close to Wood Lake Nature Center, and so we spend a lot of time there. And then finally travel. So that's a little bit about me. I am so excited to learn more about you and start the year off in language arts.
Hi, 6th graders. We are all so excited that you're here, starting this kind of new adventure online. So we are just so looking forward to meeting you and going through this year with you. So my name is Ms. Bakarna, and I am one of the 3 6th grade language arts teachers. And all of the 6th grade language arts teachers got a chance to talk this morning, and I'm so excited about the curriculum. I think you guys are gonna love it. So a little bit about me. Just a couple of pictures. The one where I'm sitting on the ledge of that cliff, I actually got to go to Norway a couple years ago with a couple of my cousins. So that was an amazing experience. One of the things I love to do is traveling and hiking and just seeing the beauty that the world has to offer. So that was a really cool trip. And then the one above it with all the kids, my dad and I traveled to Japan, where we were able to tour their schools, and it was so cool to learn from the teachers and the kids there. So that was another fun experience. Some other things that I love baseball. I love the Minnesota Twins. Like Miss Beckett said, I also love chocolate and coffee, 2 of my favorite things. Love being active and being outside, going for runs. That other picture is a picture of my porch. I live in South Minneapolis, and so during this quarantine time, I was able to kind of do some fun house projects along the way. So we are all just so looking forward to getting to know you, and it's going to be a great year. So thanks for joining us tonight, 6th grade.
Hello, 6th graders. I am Mrs. Tapper, and I am the 3rd of the triad of language arts teachers for this 6th grade crew. I am very excited to meet you all. Oddly enough, you might have noticed that Ms. Bakarna, Mrs. Beckett, and myself have a fair bit in common that we didn't even know about. My absolute loves are HGTV and DIY projects. I am working on building a front porch on the front of our house, which has been quite an endeavor. I would show you pictures, but it currently looks like a dirt pile because we're working on leveling the ground. I love coffee and chocolate. I am a voracious traveler. I've gone to 28 countries so far, 5 continents. I'm on my way. I had a goal of hitting all 7 by the time I was 30, but instead I had some babies. I love gardening and I love being outside, and we're huge, huge lovers of Hamilton in our family right now. You can see in my pictures, I have my husband. I call him Joey. Everybody else calls him Joe. And then I've got 3 daughters. Rin is our oldest, Shay is our middle, and Lane is our youngest. And over the last couple months, at the very end of April, we rescued a puppy named Bowie. He loves my laptop a little too much. So you will definitely see him and hear him in videos and whenever we're doing learning together, because his favorite place is to sit right on the laptop, completely obscuring anybody else's view of anything. But he really is in tune to learning about what 6th grade is all about. He's going to do awesome with it. And the next slide is all about what I also teach. I happen to be the one teacher who is solely and completely just in 6th grade this year. So I will absolutely have all of us 6th graders front and foremost in my head, remembering that we are all the brand new crew to middle school, that you are coming from your elementary school and that those middle school pieces are still going to absolutely be taught to you, and we're going to create an amazing community together. And I love that I get to represent us in 6th grade. The best way we get to do it is through Minnesota history. That's social studies. It is yes, all about what went on in Minnesota, what goes on in present day, past, present, and future, but it's all through the lens of ourselves. It's through who we are and who we are with one another, who we are as a community and individually, what makes up our family story, what makes up our community story. I love it, and I'm super excited to share in Minnesota with all of you and to hear all of your connections, even if right now you're thinking, I don't know, I don't have any connections to Minnesota. Don't worry, I'm sure you do. We will find them together.
All right, it's time to talk about sixth grade science. And so incoming sixth graders, new sixth graders, we are so excited to work with you this year. And if you are feeling anxious, not quite sure what's happening, I think we all feel you, but I totally feel you. I'm transitioning from fifth grade to sixth grade this year. So I am also a new sixth grader, just like all of you. So in sixth grade this year, the big thing that we're going to be talking about is understanding changes in the physical world.
Right on. Hey, everybody. In addition to that, if you could go back one more, thank you. In addition to that, as a part of sixth grade science, our focus is really on that engineering design cycle. So helping kids to acquire the skills that they need to work through a problem, to solve real world problems, and to apply what they're learning to their world. So I'm really excited to join Ms. McPhail in teaching this. This will be my first time teaching sixth grade science as well. So we're both excited to just dive in and get started.
That is so true. So we're each going to talk a little bit about ourselves. I am Mrs. McPhail, and my husband and I have two little boys. Bryce will be 4 in October, and Josh just turned 2 over the summer. They're both named after national parks because we are an outdoor family and we love everything about the outdoors. If it involves nature, I'm all about it. I am a big birder. So over the summer, I spent a lot of time birding, so trying to add birds to my life list. I also monitored 2 bluebird trails, and we did a lot of camping. I did some gardening with my kids this year, and I also volunteer at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center in Roseville. I work in the avian nursery there, so I rehab baby birds. Let's see, my sons are obsessed with owls, so you'll probably hear a lot about that this year. And, aside from nature, I really just appreciate a good joke, and I like to have a good time, and we're going to have a good time this year.
Right on. Thank you. I didn't introduce myself. My name is Betsy Hawes, and like Ms. McPhail, I'll be teaching sixth grade science. A little bit about me. These, as you can see in the picture on the top left-hand corner there, that's my family. My daughter Ezra is 7 years old. She'll be a second grader this year. My daughter Finley is 4, and she's actually going into a pre-K program. And Gerald is our brand new, we succumbed to the COVID puppy adoption. And so Gerald is our delightful and darling baby dog, baby puppy. So he's about 12 weeks old and has tons of energy and keeps us going. So it's a lot of fun to learn how to train and raise a new puppy. And my wife, Kaya, she is older than them, and I won't tell you how old she is, but she's actually a teacher in Wayzata Public School. So I know my daughters love having 2 moms that are teachers. They just love it. So a little bit about me. I grew up actually in Chicagoland. I'm not originally from Minnesota, but I came up here to go to the University of Minnesota, Twin Cities, go Gophers. And I got a job teaching in Bloomington after my grad program. So I've been in Bloomington for about 14 years. I worked at the elementary level, actually, with second graders and third graders and doing reading and math intervention for about 10 years before I left there to be a coach for other teachers. And then most recently, I've been teaching at Valley View Middle School the last couple of years with sixth graders. So I'm really looking forward to working with sixth graders again. Just a few favorite things. I love any music. We have a lot of dance parties in my house, just kind of impromptu dance parties. I love to see movies. Unfortunately, we can't go to the theater right now, but Ms. Tapper was talking about Hamilton. I love musicals. I love to cook. I love to go swimming at the cabin. I love to read, and I love candy. It's like my guilty pleasure. I love to try any new candy that they put out there. I'm totally a sucker for it. So that's a little bit about me. And then just a favorite quote. I think maybe we can all relate to this at this point in our lives, but from John Lennon, life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. So I don't know what kind of plans you had for this year, but I'm so excited to be a part of them and to work with you to make this a great experience for everybody involved. So welcome. We're glad you're here.
Wait, time out. I have a question for you. I'm wondering if you have a favorite kind of candy. What's your favorite, like out of all of them, what's your favorite candy?
Oh, I can't answer that question. That's so hard. I mean, what's your favorite candy? Well, we'll have to dig into that. Come ready to tell us what your favorite candy is, please.
Really want to know.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Serena Campershore. I'll be teaching Math 6 this year. This slide is just a general overview of math this year. I'm not going to read the course description. You can read that on your own. We're mainly going to focus on the priority benchmarks in the areas of number and operation, algebra, and geometry. Students are going to develop multiple strategies for solving problems and see the connection between different skills and concepts as we learn this year. If you go to the next slide, this is more detail about what actual topics, what skills, what concepts we'll be learning in the area of number and operation, algebra, and geometry. So this is something that you can look at later. Next slide. Again, I'm Serena Campershore. I'm going to be teaching Math 6. I've been teaching in Bloomington for 14 years at Valley View Middle School. I am also connected to Oak Grove Middle School and Olson Middle School. I attended both schools as a student, so I went to Oak Grove Intermediate for 5th and 6th grade and Olson Junior High for 7th and 8th grade, and then I graduated from Kennedy High School. I went to the U of M and earned my licensures in elementary education in 5 through 8 math. I also hold a reading licensure in K through 12 reading, which I earned through St. Mary's University. My husband and I have been married for 15 years. We have 3 children. Our youngest son, Ezekiel, who we call Zeke, passed away in 2018. My 2 other boys, Elias, 11, and Ezra, 6, are still with us. And Elias is starting middle school this year. Ezra's going to start a new school as well. And both of them are going to be participating in full-time distance learning through our home district. Our family is big into the outdoors. We're trying to camp and hike at every state park. So our goal is to camp at all 75 Minnesota state parks. And so far, we've hiked a total of 132.9 miles within the Minnesota state parks. I also like to take pictures, make shutterfly books. Every day I go on a 3-mile hike with my boys, and once in a while we go on a bike as well. And then as far as how I spend my other free time, I really enjoy reading books. I read a couple memoirs this summer, and I also practice yoga. I'm super excited to have the opportunity to teach online this year and look forward to working with you this year.
All right, so I am not Ray Cannon, but I'm going to introduce him. He is not able to be with us tonight. Ray Cannon is going to be our music exploration teacher this year. His picture was taken at an amusement park in China. He says this is the 900th roller coaster he's ridden, and he's now up to 1,150 different roller coasters around the world. He can't wait to meet you and get to know more about you. So music exploration is going to be a classroom-based music course where you'll be examining how music is used within culture as a form of self and cultural expression. You get to examine music from your world and use it to make connections to other cultures and time periods. You'll also get to create a piece of music during the course and present it as you choose. The exciting thing about Mr. Cannon's course is that it's centered around each student's experience and allows the students to explore the way they relate to music in their world. We are so excited to have Mr. Cannon as a part of our exploratory teachers this year. Miss Turner was also not able to be with us tonight, but she did create a slide. Miss Turner is a special education teacher, so she'll be working with some students, not all, but you'll see her name and you may see her in your classes as well sometimes. These are all the things about her. I love how she did her kind of web map of things about Miss Turner. She loves cats. I know those are her 2 daughters. She loves gardening, and that is her partner. I think she has one more slide. Yes. Oh, and she has a video. Andrew, you want to play it? I'm not sure if you're all hearing this video. We can't hear it. Okay. Okay, well, we tried. So Miss Turner says that you may see her this year in some of your courses. She's going to be there to help with you during instruction and help you with expectations in the course. She may work one-on-one with some students and offer some more targeted or specific services. She's really excited to meet all of you and to be one of your teachers. She will be reaching out more individually as the team further develops caseloads for the year. So you will hear from Miss Turner in the future, should she be your case manager. And 6th graders, I was so excited to jump into this presentation that I did not introduce myself. My name is Miss Brower. I have been in the Bloomington Public School District. I had to count it up. This is my 18th year. I started as a 6th grade science teacher. And so I know 6th graders so well, and they are my favorite, but don't tell the other kids, don't tell the 7th or 8th graders. But we are so excited to have you as a part of our online school. Here is a list that we compiled for the supplies that we'd like you to have at home so that you're ready. Parents, this list will be posted on our main Bloomington Online School webpage, as well as a link to this slideshow so that you will be able to go through and look through it again, as well as access the supply list. And I'm going to pass this over to Andrew.
All right. Well, sorry about the sound on that one clip. We just wanted to talk through our technology so that everybody's kind of clear on making sure they are ready to go for the year. So all students will have a touchscreen Chromebook provided by the district. So many of our students already have that device from last year. If you already have that device, you are all set and there's nothing that you need to do. If you do not have that device, you can go to your previously scheduled middle school on September 1st or 2nd for pickup between 8 and 3. And then if you're new to Bloomington, you would go to Valley View Middle School. And the process for picking up those devices will be clear as you go to the site. Again, they'll be following safety procedures around pickup of materials. And we just want to make sure that everyone has a device ready to go for the year. In Bloomington, we have one password that drives all of our kind of systems. So just so you know, we have the hub, we have Canvas, and then we have the Google Suite. So it's one password for those 3 systems. Parents, guardians, you can look up in the hub under profile and passwords, and you can share that password with your student. Access to internet is extremely important, and we want to make sure that families know that there are some options around that. So one, if you need help with access to internet, We have information at this website, so the bit.ly/PBS internet. And you can look up the same information. We have multiple plans. There are options there. One is that, there's two $10 a month options for eligible families. You can apply for funding through essentially through a grant service or through the Education Foundation of Bloomington. And there's also the option of checking out a hotspot. If at all possible, we would recommend the top two as the first kind of choice, and then the hotspot as a backup. Again, our goal is having the access work for you and having it be kind of fully up and running before the school year. So we have a schedule to share with you, and some of you might have seen this before. This is a student view of the schedule. So we have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. We begin school at 9 o'clock with a launch, and that's a live synchronous session. It isn't necessarily always going to go for a full half hour, but is a time for students to check in and check in with their launch teacher and think about the day. And we'll be doing some things in that course around community building, around navigating tools that we need to be able to navigate in online learning, and a number of other kind of activities throughout the year. And then at 9:30, it marks a shift to the first two core classes of the day. There's a 2-hour block there. Really, we are having a mix of synchronous and asynchronous instruction, so live instruction and then instruction or learning opportunities that are not live and in the moment. And we'll talk more about that later in the presentation. There's a lunch break, and then we go into the afternoon. There are some drop-in sessions, and those are really times where teachers are available for students to make appointments, to drop in and check in with them if they're having questions around their assignments at all. So when we talk about online learning, I've seen a lot of kind of funny videos about this lately because everybody in the world is talking about online learning in different ways. We use two words, synchronous and asynchronous. And so synchronous instruction is learning that's happening in real time. We use Google Meet as our format for that instruction. And then asynchronous instruction is learning that occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. So that means not on a live Meet through Google Meet. So we use Canvas as our LMS, and that our learning will be organized through Canvas and utilizing the tools within Canvas. So synchronous time is not teacher lecture time or really whole group instruction time. It is instead time for, we have the launch meeting, which is synchronous. We have community building, relationship building, updates and news, possibly doing breakout groups or smaller groups, depending on the topic that's being discussed and the work happening. So games and fun, of course, socializing, sharing, discussion, really that connection that we want to have happen in kind of the in-time live format. Asynchronous time is about teacher video instruction, independent practice, reflection, creation, a balance of digital and non-digital. So we know that balance is extremely important. Sharing, collaboration, launching student products, of course, and then feedback and assignments. So we do have some information around attendance, just so you know, for our program. Each day, students will log into the hub and they will check in. So this will be a daily routine that we do as part of launch, that portion of the day. So if your student is not going to be able to participate in learning for the day, for whatever reason, we ask that parents and guardians call the BOS, the Bloomington Online School line, to report an absence for the day. So there's an attendance line there. That is really so that we know if a student is not in kind of our live sessions or not checking in with the work throughout the day, that we're aware of why that might be, and we can help if it's an issue around access, if it's obviously if it's a health concern or an illness, we would want to be able to support as the student kind of goes through and recovers, and then can get back with us in our online classes. So our attendance expectations. So we have synchronous expectations. So students are expected to participate in all scheduled synchronous Google Meets. So what that means is that is part of the class. That is learning that will happen. And then if a student will be unable to attend a meeting, please communicate with us ahead of time or with the teacher ahead of time and arrange alternate plans. Just like you would if you missed in-person instruction, you'd want to be communicating that. And then if it's an unexpected absence, again, communicating with the teacher, really with middle school, kind of building those skills for the student to be communicating with the teacher kind of as that first move. Obviously, as parents and guardians, if you have concerns about that, we of course would want you to reach out. Synchronous expectations, so asynchronous tasks will include academic instruction, practice, and reflection. So effort, that's going to require effort and work throughout the day. So again, if your student is really struggling with that independent work that is part of the day, then you'd want to reach out and let us problem solve with you and partner with you around supporting your student. So, you know, while we talk about online school, it is important to just put ourselves in the mind frame of the fact that we're in a pandemic. We understand that Bloomington Online School is a new format of learning. And we, of course, want to support your child and have them be successful. And so that means really it's going to take communication around what's happening for you and your family, and then what's happening on the school side, so that we really can continuously have that back and forth communication. So we do understand that unexpected things will come up. And then, of course, we're eager to support you. All right, so we are at the section of the meeting where we do family Q&A. So you can chat in your questions from right in the chat window or in the comment window, and we will respond to your questions.
So one of the first questions that parents are noticing, families are noticing, is that our schedule does not align with start time of the other 3 middle schools. Andrew, will you just comment on that and give a little bit of background about how why we made that decision?
Yeah, so over summer we were working on the design for this school, and one of the elements that we were working with our colleagues at the University of Minnesota, with teachers throughout the district, we had design teams engaged in the process. And really, we aligned with the K-5 school. We looked at the opportunity to have school start at a time that might work better for students because what we know about early start time, of course, and then really just from there seeing like having a live check-in for that first part of the day and then going from there. So it is true that it does start at a different time, and we believe that that's going to serve the students in our program better.
Other questions? And 6th graders, please feel free to chat your questions in as well. It does not need to just be parents asking questions at this point.
Yeah, so I see a question there about different information showing it up in the hub under a schedule tab. Yes, there might be different information around times in there. That will be corrected. We are really working to, build and launch our school here. And then we have parts of our system that will continually kind of bring on board as we go. So schedules are posted. And then the next step is making sure we have the right times kind of displayed on there. And again, the schedule we just shared is the schedule we will follow for the year.
Okay, the next question is, will the students have tutorials to explain how to navigate the sites, logins, etc.?
Yes, so we are working on that. We have some online modules or course lessons designed around those. Actually, we're going to be visiting that topic as a team tomorrow to really move that into concrete plans. And then we have essentially lots of online tutorials and all of that, but then we need to put them in kind of the context of learning in the classroom. and make it an engaging experience as students learn both how to navigate online, also build relationships as a class and with teachers.
So I can answer the next one. How many sixth graders are in Bloomington Online School? We have about 80 right now. As you can imagine, there was a little bit of shifting that happened when the district went from hybrid to distance learning. However, we had a waiting list to pull from. So there are still students coming in to our school from the waiting list, which is really exciting to be able to give them that opportunity. As it stands right now, though, we're at about 80.
There's a question there about Google Meet. So Google Meet will be available when your student signs into their Chromebook. It's already part of the Google suite of applications that are in there.
There's a question about why we have 2 classes in the same chunk of time.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the format of school that we're all very used to is a period kind of driven bell schedule school where you have chunks of that are very individual throughout the day. And really with online learning, there's the opportunity to have some flexibility within there. We will be obviously, part of our work is communicating it very clearly with students. They, as part of our learning management system, so part of Canvas, is an agenda for the day where they can see where they need to be throughout the day, as well as looking at assignments and due dates and work that they're doing.
There's a language arts question wondering about if students will be reading Percy Jackson or a different book. I'm not sure, language arts teachers, if you are that far yet, but if one of you wants to jump in there.
Yeah, I can talk about that for a second. So like I mentioned earlier, we had a chance to meet today, the language arts teachers, and I think what we're planning on doing is more of a book club method. Where students are able to select from a variety of novels. And we're thinking of starting that this second quarter. So there'll be a little bit of leeway at the beginning where we're all kind of reading the same book. And then as the year progresses and students kind of become more comfortable, then they'll have the chance to select a book based on their level. I hope that answers the question. So Percy Jackson was just one option that we had talked about, but there'll be several others for students to choose from too.
Thank you, Allie.
There's a question asking for clarification on the end of the day being 4 p.m., which is later than the K-5 program.
Yeah, so our program, as you look at the schedule, ends with a period of time where there is an exploratory period where teachers who are teaching in the exploratory part of our program will be having classes, again, some synchronous, some asynchronous, and then other teachers will have kind of drop-in time. They'll be available if students aren't in a synchronous session and they need to reach out for teachers as part of essentially like office hours or around drop-in time. So I'm not sure if that gives a full answer to the question that you have there, but that's what that period of time is for.
Let's see. My 6th grader would like to know what lunchtime will be like. Will there be time for socializing online together?
That's a great request from students, and I see smiles on our teachers' faces there around really, I can already tell that there will be the work to connect kids during that time and have that socializing, which is such an important part of middle school. So there is not a plan around this is the lunch and you will be, necessarily in this spot, but instead it would be looking at throughout the year, those opportunities during that lunch period.
Let's see. Will we have an opportunity to meet Ms. Hills, who will be teaching Algebra 8 to 6th graders? So I'll take this question. Our teachers in Bloomington Online Schools teach more than one grade level in a lot of cases. So we have our core 6th grade group here. If your 6th grader is not in a Math 6, then you are free to join the 7th or the 8th grade session to meet Ms. Hills. She is officially, as how we group them, a 7th and 8th grade teacher. However, she will be teaching that course for those students who are in 6th grade and need the level that she's teaching. So we do understand that that's one of the disadvantages of having these live sessions, but you know, you have the opportunity to meet or to watch a recorded version of this and the 7th and 8th grade. They'll all be posted on our website.
All right, I'm trying to scan back through questions that we've missed there to see if we have missed any kind of big ones here. Yeah, so we answered that. All right, so we'll look at the bottom list again. All right, so let's see. Do they have their video turned on during Google Meets? That's a great question. That comes up a lot. It comes up a lot from students also. So as we've been working as educators around how synchronous time really best serves kids, there would be moments where video would be turned on, and then many moments where it would be optional whether that video is turned on. And it really depends on what's happening and the type of, obviously, the type of interaction that's taking place. Really giving an option for students and families around turning video off, but still engaging in the content is a nice option for them. It's important in many situations, so we want to lean into that. But also, there are moments when a teacher might ask a student to turn a video on, or turn a camera on, not the video.
Can I just say I really like that username? My fish barked. Yeah, it did. I just really appreciate that. So thanks for that unique username.
So I would like to address some of the questions coming through with DA. We at Bloomington Online School do not have a specific DA program or section. What we do have and what we've offered families is to group students that are in the gifted and talented program, both DA and Nobel, coming from Valley View Middle, group them together so that our teachers and our students are able to work together to differentiate. So some of your questions, you know, hopefully that answers some of your questions about DA curriculum or DA, you know, what will the DA be doing? These will be differentiated in classes, but they will be classes that have other 6th grade students in them as well. And then I saw a question about 6th and 7th graders taking 8th grade math. Will they be grouped with 8th graders? I'm going to say yes, because I believe that is how they were scheduled in order to have balanced classes. I may have to get back to this parent, but I'm going to say yes, we had to balance out our courses, and so they will be grouped together learning the same content.
Can I speak for just a second about DA or gifted and talented, just because I know that my 2 co-partners in crime with language arts are also, they're jumping grades as well. So I'll speak from all 3 of us. We have a wealth of experience and knowledge within meeting kiddos where they're at. One of my masters is with gifted and talented and differentiation. And so we are excited that this is a step away from traditional schools. We've seen it, and we're going to be better able to accelerate kids individually, regardless of like a DA label or a Nobel label. I'm going to lean into that right away to know, like, oh, these kiddos need that challenge, that extra push. But we are very much excited about that we can zero in on different kids' interests in a very new and fun format.
Yeah, thank you, Courtney.
Yeah, thank you.
There's a question there about, is there a chance that school will start later than September 8th? And I have not heard talk of a later start date than September 8th. So we would say that as of right now, school begins on September 8th, and we are very excited to launch the year.
There's a question here, Andrew. Where do we find their class schedule?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I believe you can find that by, well, there was information that was sent out to parents and guardians around how to access that. So one, I would look for that communication. If you do not find that, if you were not contacted, I would suggest reaching out to one of us so we can make sure you get access.
Is Bloomington Online School Middle School its own entity, or is it still part of Valley View Middle? That's a great question. I'll take it. So originally, during the summer, when this school was being planned and formed, the plan was for Bloomington Online School Middle School to be attached to Valley View Middle School, that they would partner together. What happened as things changed over the summer is that the demand for enrollment just grew and grew to about 300 students from the expected 100 during planning. So they had to make a decision to unpartner with Valley View, and that's when I came in as an administrator to help coordinate these services across all 3 middle schools. So now that we've got the representation from the 3 middle schools, and my job is to help coordinate services and communicate with all 3 middle schools when needed. So yes, we are, I would say, our own entity. We've got our own teachers. We have got our own schedule. We've got our own focuses, but we do partner with Valley View and Oak Grove and Olson Middle when it comes to services like a counselor or a social worker, or things that times that we find that your student might need some extra support.
And we all of us teachers came from one of the 3, or that we all came from within the district. Yeah, as well. So we're all Bloomington.
All right, I see some questions here around, are students with their same grade for launch, or is it multi-grade? Rebecca, do you want to answer that?
Sure. Same grade. We wanted to keep 6th graders with 6th graders, 7th graders with 7th graders, and 8th graders. And we really did split the kids. We just randomly put them by grade into their launch, is what we call our advisory period, where we start the day. We want kids to get to know each other. We want new friendships to form. And so that was the decision making process that went behind that.
I see a question from one of the students around, will there be tests? I don't know if there's a teacher who wants to answer that question around whether there will be tests as part of Bloomington Online School.
We will have tests all day, every day. Very stressful. No, we are, this is the really fun part. We're looking for, I get high anxiety for tests. Like, that stresses me out. I don't want that for my students. So we're really looking at how can we do it differently, and looking at projects, or showing what you know, or continuous feedback, or also kind of letting go of like, oh, well, you get 8 out of 10. What does that mean? And instead having it be like, hey, it sounds like you got this concept really well. Let's work a little bit more here. So more, again, individualized to kiddos.
Yep, and just in a general kind of practice when teachers and when classes move to an online format, traditional tests oftentimes take a little shift where they become, if by tests you are picturing multiple choice kind of questions, fact-based questions, they oftentimes move to practice-based. It is still important, of course, that students gain content knowledge and an understanding of how content fits together and connects to them in the world, of course. But it's a little shift to say, how can we assess in authentic ways where it isn't as easily just a multiple choice test.
So I just want to notice the time. We have about 1 more minute. We're going to answer as many questions as we can. But if you have questions that remain unanswered, please feel free to reach out to Andrew, to me. There's contact information. If you go to the main BOS middle school webpage, you'll see our contact information, and you can reach out to us there. Let's see, what did I miss? If originally Oak Grove Middle, a parent wants to know, is that their home school? Yes, it is. So whatever you would be going to, had you not enrolled in Bloomington Online School, is your home school. The question is about the PTA. Absolutely reach out to that school for joining the PTA. There is a Bloomington Online School Middle School Family Advisory Committee that is forming. I have a form that if you're interested in that, let me know. I sent it out in an email, but I am happy to talk one-on-one with you about that.
Yeah, and I would say as Bloomington Online School families, if you're having technology difficulties at all, like I see there's a hub issue there, please make sure you reach out to us and we can work to get you the access that you need.
One question about how do we know that students are learning the content so they're able to progress on to the next grade in school year? Andrew, do you want to take that one?
Sure, I can take that one. So the online courses are designed to meet the same academic standards that exist in the in-person classes or distance learning classes. Those are standards established by the Minnesota Department of Education. And so that is part of our practice in Bloomington, is designing around standards. And so the question is really, how do we move teaching to be engaging and interactive in an online setting while also learning the content and standards for the whichever course it is, or in whichever discipline.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I think that we've reached the end of our time together. Teachers, thank you again for being here. Families, sixth graders, thank you for coming. Again, we are so excited. I hope you could tell from this video, from this live stream, that we are so excited to meet you. And as the days get closer, questions may come up. Again, feel free to reach out to us and we will do our best to answer your questions.
All right, thank you.